What I want to draw attention to is this. There's more to these indicators that you might not know about. This is the damage indicator. Are you aware of this?
Yes.
Okay, this is important because there's times when you cannot draw your eyes to here and you got to get the information from the center of your screen. There's 3 indicators, okay? There's a yellow indicator, there's a red indicator, and there's a white indicator. What's the yellow indicator for?
Sound? Concussed?
No, util. So it pops up where they throw utility at you. Usually it's like a dart or an eye or something like that. The yellow indicator will pop up to show where that is. What about the white indicator? You know what the white indicator is?
I have no clue. I don't even know where I've seen it before.
The white indicator, we'll see if we can find it. There.
Oh!
So where, what is it for? What do you think? What happened on the map? Your teammate just died here and they were looking at the enemy. So this represents the last known location of where the enemy is that killed your teammate. The center is the brightest part. That's the exact location. And this is the approximate range over the next like 2 or 3 seconds of where they could be going. Okay.
So he killed him like on box?
No, he's right here. You see him right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see him on the map, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where it is. Okay. The yellow one, we'll see if it pops up as well. But so you can see that this strategy is not working for you. I'm trying to retake from the side, right?
Yeah.
A lot of what I'm going to tell you to do on this one is to take advantage of their weaknesses.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I ever flanked this game actually.
If you were to play against your comp, what would you do?
Doesn't look like we have flank control either.
You got it.
Playing, yeah.
We gotta be taking aggressive flank control. There was the yellow indicator, by the way.
Yeah, the fade
There.
thing, right?
Yeah, it was in there. There it is, right there. See that? Fade eye. There's your yellow indicator.
So definitely look for those.
Yeah, those are little things that you can just like look as like little hints, because there's so much that this game gives to you that you don't even realize. It's just free sometimes. You're doing what I like to call promise ring peaks. Okay, you're not fully invested into the relationship, but you're trying to kind of commit a little bit, right? You're committing too much. I find that the burst firing in this game, the more that I play it, it's just too damn committal. As soon as you start bursting, you're planting yourself. Like, notice the lack of movement between these shots. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's like nothing here. You should be tapping and moving, tapping, moving, tapping, moving, tapping, moving at this range, for sure. Not a question. And if someone's crab walking across your screen, you're directly responsible for making this player better. Okay? You just made that player worse. It's not only just bad that you missed this kill, it's that you left some to continue doing this habit because you did not punish them. So shame on you for not one-tapping them in the face. Okay? That's the way you really got to think about it. Because it's not about you, man. It's about the community, right? It's about the people around us. We got to make each other better. We have to punish these bad habits these players have. All right?
I agree. I 100% agree.
This is a really simple one. So this is a fundamental. So, and a lot of agents follow this rule too. I want you to invest this stuff before you die. Some people get into the confusion to ask questions. Do you want to flash here? Question mark? Terrible question. You should say, I'm flashing here.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.
And whether or not they decide to react on it is up to them. Now, you might not use the dog in the situation, but at the very least at this point in time, I'd like to see at least a flash. If you've cleared here and there's no threat, there's nothing wrong with you throwing a flash over top and then going for it. There's so much that we could do here. Now, here's the other thing that's really important as an initiator. Every time you use utility, you call it you're using that utility. Why do you think that's important?
So they know.
So the Sage knows. So the Sage can play off this dog and peek out, and they're going to draw fire on the dog, and then you're able to just, take an easy fight for the Sage, right? So that's important. If you're going to flash, call out the flash so that the Sage knows how to peek off of it. So your teammates in spawn know how to peek off it and fight off of it, right? This is important. For example, you're missing another opportunity here. Your Clove's about to fight again. Flash again right through here. Flash right in front of your face if you want to. Clove can now take some free fight on those two people who are fully stunned or flashed, right?
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Call a flash so that your Phoenix knows that it's okay to peek.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.
So important to call your utility.
Yeah, would have gotten her a kill.
Yeah, it's possible. It's not necessarily util fight here invoked. It's more so like, if I'm dying with the dog in my inventory, I've done something wrong, generally. So another way that you could have done this, or used this utility, was, let's say, for example, you started off on A, like you did. What if we dog down at the start of the round and see if there's anyone there? And if we didn't hear anyone, we didn't see anyone there, and we're on our bonus round, isn't it fair ground to say, hey, let's rotate to C early because they're probably going to end there? Wouldn't that put you in a better position to be able to take gunfights if you were there before the site hit? Or there as they're hitting the site? Wouldn't it be more awkward for them? That's kind of where I'm looking at, or what I'm looking at here. So as you're coming through here, it's almost natural to be throwing flashes because you already know they're going to be on site. Does that make sense? Now, is the reason you're not throwing this because you don't want to waste it?
It's more, I just didn't think about it.
Okay, as long as it's not a wasting thing. Because here's what I'm looking at. You're coming in here, I would immediately throw a dog right now. And I would just pat the dog and help my teammates clear. Or I'd throw a flash for this clove to be able to wrap around. Flash the site so that your clove can move up and fight. That's a perfect opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You can flash right through here right now, right? So I think it's safer that you do than you don't, because there's probably a lot of rounds where you don't use it at all. So in order to learn, you kind of have to go out of your way to do something that's uncomfortable, which is to use that utility. Some people get into the confusion as an initiator to ask questions. Do you want to flash here? Question mark? Terrible question. You should say, I'm flashing here. And whether or not they decide to react on it is up to them at that point. Okay? Now, when you're in a pre-round, okay? So right now, pre-round buy phase. This is where you can ask questions. But when you're in the game, you act, don't ask. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Want to get coached? Join this Discord. We have free and paid coaching options. Can't wait to see you there. Enjoy the video.
Would a sniper like the outlaw or the other one, the top one, would those be good in this area?
The only issue with sniper rifles is that, let's say they don't come towards A. You better have a good strategy for how you're going to retake C. Because retaking the sniper rifle can be a pain in the ass. Right?
Yeah.
So the outlaw, definitely, a lot of people will buy that, especially on second round, especially when there's bigger maps. Like, this is one of the bigger maps for sure, or longer range angles. Let's say, for example, Haven, right? It could be really good to use an outlaw because you're going to have those long range fights and it's like one tap to the body, right? And you're able to take out like 2 people really, really quickly, right? So there's definitely an applicability to using that, but I would definitely think about what's my sidearm going to be? How am I going to retake? So if you had Sheriff, that might be something that you'd use, right? How many people are at C right now?
I'm not sure. I wasn't looking.
Great statement. You're not sure. I'm not sure either. Anything that we do here is a guess, an educated guess, but perhaps. But it's a guess. And when we're not assessing, we're guessing. We don't know what's going on. What we're doing is we're working under assumption, and when we work under assumption, assumptions make asses out of you and me. What's stopping there from being one person here ready to shoot you right now?
Nothing.
Exactly. That's the problem. So we go back. This is going to be another communication thing. Communication is so important in this game.
Well,
you're rotating over.
They're all C.
They're taking fights on C. This guy says they're all C. Terrible comm. Terrible comm. You hear they're all C, or you hear C, 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 or you hear A. I need these comms. Terrible comm. You need to clarify. What I would immediately say to these people is I'd say numbers on C, and if they say 3, I immediately assume, worst case scenario, there might be 1 here, okay?
Oh, nice.
In that circumstance, regardless, my pathing here is going through B main. Why? Because it's a 3v5 and we're probably fucked anyway. I would go towards B main and I would open the door. I would clear this out as a threat, and now I have the opportunity to either flank like this or fight through here and try to catch them while they're moving onto site. If I go through the conventional way right now, I'm probably already lost in a 5v3. I'm most likely lost.
Should I run despawn or should I walk through like door or something?
I would be challenging door here. In this situation, 3v5. If they're saying, oh, they're all on site, whatever, I would be challenging behind and flanking for sure, 100%.
And should I care about noise or should I like try to be very fast?
If you open the door, they know you're there. So there's no sense in you walking. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think about how do I win the next round? I think about what's weak about their comp and how can I abuse them. They're running C every single round. What do I need to do to change it up to be able to beat them? That's what I'm focused on. I don't care if they take my gun. Fuck them. So we're doing a retake simulator on C now. And we've been doing this now for the last like 2 or 3 rounds, have we not?
Yes, we have.
It's time to be more aggressive towards Rebel and start taking space on them, especially against a comp that cannot cover flank as well as we think they can. Look at this comp. Ask yourself, what are they strong with? Well, you know, they're strong with locking down forward positions with the Sage Wall. Not so great on flank, right? They're okay on entry, right? But are they good with flashing? Not so much.
No.
So these are important things to remember too. If they have no flashes, a lot of times if you place a smoke down or you ask for Clove to throw a smoke down, you can literally just stand there watching the smoke and see if they run through the smoke and just shoot them in the head because they got no utility to be able to clear you. Look at the opponent's composition and ask yourself, what are they weak with? Their agents aren't great for flank control. It's another little thing that you want to take as a nugget. They're good with strong attacking like sentinels moving forward, and locking down space with the Sage Wall, with the Deadlock Wall, but on the flank it's not so great, right? The flank, their utility does not detect very well. One only detects through sound, and you're even seeing that right now. This Deadlock's not playing terribly. They're placing their sound utility or sound detection on that pillar there, on site. An aggressive position, which is actually a really good trap for the Deadlock. That's how you should be playing it.
I think I struggle a lot with like Econ, I guess.
Okay. That's one that we don't really tackle a ton on stream, so it's cool to be able to see that. So you mentioned economy being an issue. So the first round, I think we can kind of move off unless you had a question specific for that one, because I want to really go into economy here. This round here, so you decided to buy a Spectre. Why did you decide to buy a Spectre? What was the reason?
Just Spectre's my go-to for force buying. People told me if you win first round, you always force buy next round.
Yeah, those people you don't listen to, okay?
Okay.
Those are the people that will tell you it's a good idea to jump off the bridge. We don't need to jump off the bridge. And here's the thing, you're innocent in this because you're new to the game, so you're just listening to other people. It can be dangerous, right? It's sometimes the blind can lead the blind. The reason why you're buying a Spectre here is specifically for comfort. It's a comfort pick. That's basically what you described in because. Comfort and because. Because is not a reason, chat. We need to have a reason behind why we buy certain things. So for example, you're playing towards A right now. What kind of gunfights does the Spectre benefit the most? Which range? Closer range, yes, close and sometimes medium range, right? A little bit of medium, okay? How many close medium range fights are you planning on taking when you peek out on A main, for example?
Probably none.
Yeah, it's going to be long. It's going to be long range, yeah. So unless you're planning on getting them to come over to here and then peek them there, you're generally going to have to be kind of gimped a bit in how you can choose to take fights. And that's the problem. So we don't just buy because. I like that you have a Sheriff here, because that can be your long range weapon if you wanted to replace it. So it should be all peeking with the Sheriff. But if you're going to be taking that fight, for example, which I don't think you should, it's a terrible angle, Bulldog is totally fine to buy here. You don't have to do things because other people have told you to do that. It's a very important thing once you get into Platinum to start breaking autopilots. This is a form of autopiloting. You're not asking the right questions. You're just doing things because people have told you to do it, and that's a real danger. There's nothing wrong with the Spectre buy. As long as you can justify why you are buying a weapon and you have an intention behind it, I will never have a problem. And then you just got to show me how you're going to do it, right? In the game footage itself. So like if you're going to peek this fight, for example, this is now a long range fight. See how you get to jump into a crouch right away? This is fear-based. This crouch is a fear-based crouch. And it's purely because you don't have a weapon that you feel confident that you can shoot this guy at. Now, if you had a Bulldog and you run out, you're probably going to take this fight pretty simply, right? You dropped right into the crouch right away. There's no hole here in that you didn't get punished by anything, but you could. And as we get better and better at the game, or we get into higher ranks, people will punish you for peaks like that. People will punish you for taking the wrong fight with the wrong weapon. So
that makes sense.
So consider the weapon. And again, you could use Spectre, but you better have a good reason or strategy behind how you're going to peek it or, you know, take fights and all that good stuff. Okay?